flowing ad budget on metrics that look great till the CFO sees them. That's bull spend. And marketers are calling it out in Dashboard Confessions.
I remember telling my boss, it'll be good for the brand, when leads were slow. Yeah, it wasn't.
Cut the bull spend. LinkedIn lets you target by company, job title, and more. Advertise on LinkedIn. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a $250 credit. Go to linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
You know you need fiber for a healthy gut, but do you actually know how to get it? Quaker's been serving up fiber since 1877, with over 100 great-tasting, good source of fiber options to choose from. Whether you like old-fashioned oats, instant oatmeal, granola, or oatmeal squares, Quaker makes it delicious. So good. Get your fiber with Quaker. Shop Quaker's good source of fiber products at a store near you.
Pepsi Prebiotic Cola in original and cherry vanilla. That Pepsi taste you love with no artificial sweeteners and 3 grams of prebiotic fiber. Pepsi Prebiotic Cola. Unbelievably Pepsi.
Welcome to another Finely Edged production for the Premier League Cricket Club. Connecting players and coaches, clubs and leagues, volunteers and supporters alike, you're in the right place for the best of the 33 ECB Premier Leagues and the 20 NCCA counties, bringing you the stories, the stats and the standout performances that make this game great. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to both our Premier League and NCCA shows so you don't miss any episodes. Now, shall we get stuck in? Okay, so welcome everybody to the Captain's Table, and once again we're looking at Premier Leagues around the country and looking forward to the 2026 season. Joining me today from the North East Premier League, we have the captain of Newcastle, and you'll see proudly wearing his Northumberland cricket jersey, Chris Youldon. How are you doing, bud?
Hi pal, how are you? Are you keeping okay?
Yeah, all well, mate, all well. Now come on then, how cold was it on Saturday?
Freezing. Yeah, there's lots of jumpers, lots of woolly hats. People bowling in woolly hats, snoods. But actually, it's good to actually get out on grass and play some cricket. I think it's great for the bowlers, good for the batters to have a good hit. So yeah, I think really positive for us. Ready to start this Saturday coming. The weather is set well, I think, for the weekend as well, and for the week. The prep week coming up that most teams will be going through. So no, all things go.
And then the slog starts. 22 weeks, 22 weekends. For you in particular, lots of Saturday, Sundays with NCCA stuff as well. How do you even begin to prepare for that?
I think it starts. It almost starts as a captain. In the season before, you start looking at your team, and you look at the lads who have done well. You look at the lads who've got potential at other places, and you start thinking about recruitment. I've always, I was captain of Sunderland as well, like to do my recruitment as early as possible, so that group of players can have a full winter together. We try to do quite an intense winter programme, but are also aware that the people that we're not professional cricketers either. People have got family lives. Well, lots of students who play cricket who will be thinking about their dissertations and stuff like that. Not that I ever did when I was at university. Like, I was too busy thinking about going out, going out playing cricket and playing football. But it seems a lot of them are doing work these days as well. And then obviously it all starts. Obviously I've got a wife and a little boy. They find that tough, especially with a lot of the Sunday stuff. But they've bought into it as well and realise it's a big part of my life. It's become a big part of theirs. So I'm forever grateful for their support as well, especially when there's lots of travelling involved. In terms of going away with the white ball stuff at Northumberland. But yeah, very supportive families, very helpful, and from a club perspective, lads who will buy in and really give it a go and give it their all. It massively helps and puts us in in the right headspace, ready for April.
Absolutely. And I think you hit on something that's quite interesting. It differs around the country quite a lot, but in your part of the world, that university amount of players who come through and the lads who are all at university, whether it be in the North Yorkshire South Durham League at Durham University, in your league at Newcastle, there's so many university players, and you've signed one this year yourself, haven't you?
Yeah, but another one to add to Josh Sterling, who played a little bit for Cumbria last season. He was with us last year and performed really successfully. We have signed one of his mates from Newcastle University in Arthur Wilcox, who I haven't actually played against because I don't play any of the 3-day stuff. But the lads who played for Northumberland were really, really impressed with him. And obviously, I saw him play at finals day at Wormsley, and then when we were unfortunately knocked out, and they managed to go all the way. So he'll be really exciting to have in our team, and a lot of experience of playing at a really good level. So yeah, I think that'll be really, really exciting for us.
Do you think that means that in the North East Prem then, over the last 10, 15 years, that age demographic of player, because of utilising players from universities and stuff like that, it started coming down quite considerably? And now, we all know that top-level cricket in the Premier League 15, 20 years ago, average age might have been 30 plus. These days, it's 25 and below, isn't it? It's get those youngsters through.
Well, definitely for the first 6 weeks, first 7 weeks, lads tend to go home and play for their home club, which I completely understand. When I was at university, I used to travel up from April, but when you go a little bit further, for example, Arthur from Norfolk, that's too big of a travel to go. So I think early in the season it does, but there's still life in the old dogs. I think there's some fantastic older players who continue to play in the league. Lads who are north of 40, still ripping it up. I mean, Johnny Whiteman is one example. Alan Worthy did fantastically last year. Simon Birtwistle, Dan Sherburn. There's still that kind of older era. The experience is massive. Counts 100%. For so much in Premier League cricket. And then you've got the kind of mid-30s, Ryan Pringle, myself, Stewie Pointer, that kind of age of people, as well as the some of the younger lads. In fact, at Newcastle this year, I made a genuine effort to try and sign some older lads.
Okay.
Because it is quite tricky to lead a team solely with lads under 25. It's tricky. They haven't necessarily got they've definitely got the skills and things, but the experiences to lean on they mightn't have yet. And it's about the lads who have had that. They've got an opportunity to kind of pass on some of that knowledge.
So come on then, who's the one that's got away this year that you've tried to sign? Give us a heads up on somebody you might have thought, I've gone after them and bugger.
So there was a lad called Robbie Dawson from Gateshead Fell. He had a bit of previous in the academy. I was really, really keen on bringing him. He bats, bowls, fields. Was really, really successful. But actually, when I did speak to him, I completely admired his response. He was so open to the chat, but said, look, Gateshead Fell, who he signed for about 2 years ago, he's been really able to flourish and develop with them, and he felt like he owed something back to them and wanted to stick with them, which I hugely admired, because obviously that doesn't necessarily happen everywhere, and that's not a criticism of those people who do, but it's admirable when you see lads choose that. But having an all rounder who bats, balls and fields, I think is something that all Premier League clubs always want. Obviously, we lost Asher Hart to move to Australia this year. It was obviously an incredibly talented cricketer, has professional county experience with Hampshire and Durham. So he will be a miss. But I think we've recruited well. We've had to bring in quite a number of players. to cover the loss of him, George Darwood, who's going to play at Formby all season this year, and Bobby Green, who's going to play at the Grange. But no, I'm pretty pleased with how we're going to set up for the season.
Talking about the rest of the league, then, who do you see as the strengths in the league in comparison to last year? Because obviously you guys came 8th last year. Burnmore, I was surprised they won the league last year. That's me personally, but I'm just one person. I expected South North to be up there. I expected Felling to be up there, and they didn't quite get there. What was the feeling around the league yourself, do you think? Was it a little bit of a surprise that they got there? It's not like they had the top 5 batters up there or anything like that, was it?
I don't think it was a surprise, actually. I think at the start of last year, a lot of the feeling amongst the league would be that Burma would be the favourite, and I think they kind of proved that with they obviously only lost 1 game last year, which, funnily enough, was against the team that got relegated in Tynemouth. But
happens, doesn't it? Yeah, happens.
It does, yeah. But they're such a strong outfit. Again, as I mentioned earlier, regarding demographics, they have got a lot of older, experienced players, and I think they can kind of bring that into the team. I am really good friends with their captain, Ryan Pringle, and we had a chat the other day. And he said we did end up running away with the league, but we just ended up on the right side of some really, really close games. And he said that's the difference. He did actually say that sometimes can be down to luck, and it can be, but often when you've got experienced teams with lots of top cricketers who've done fantastically over a decade or longer, you often do end up on the right side of those results. So yeah, I think it definitely was the most people thought Burma would win the league, and they proved us right. Could be a little bit different this year, but yeah, they'll definitely still be up there. South Northumberland have recruited really, really well as well. They've obviously signed Johnny Bushnell, who again bats balls and fields. He is the professional for us at Northumberland. And in addition to that, I've said this to him before, one of my favourite cricketers that I've ever played with, in Callum Fletcher, has gone back to South Northumberland. He's an incredibly skillful bowler. So I think he'll be a huge addition to the South Northumberland setup.
Yeah, big loss that for Burnup Field, isn't it, losing Mr. Bushnell?
Yeah, it is. He scored so many runs last year. Got me out first ball of my season last year, which thankfully won't happen this year because we're not playing them. But yeah, it will be. It's all, as I mentioned before, it's hard to replace someone who bats balls and fields. But they've also managed to recruit. I know Josh Bousfield, who I haven't seen for about 10 years probably. He was always a fantastic cricketer, and I know his record was really good with Barnard Castle. So they have recruited as well, and I think everybody's had to make some additions due to some losses that they've received. I think this year there's a lot of teams who've lost players, so that there has been a little bit of moving around.
There has. I mean, I've got registered up until a month, 2 weeks ago, so about 30 different transfers around the league, and I know I've got more to add to that because we're doing it every 2 weeks now. Benwell Hill in particular, they've gone a bit balmy when it comes into bringing a load of players straight away. Burnmore, I've made some signings there. I think Cody Hoffmeister coming in for them's quite a coup, isn't it, to bring in from South North? But is it one of those leagues that, how can I put this, money talks?
No. I think if you compare it to the elsewhere that we know in the country, I don't think it's as much like that. I think players want to play for teams that suit them as opposed to
Mm-hmm.
for any financial gain. Obviously, there will be players who do play for the sole reason of money, and that's fine. That might be what their life situation suggests is right for them at the time. But in the majority, I think players go and think about things holistically. So, is it the right set up in terms of the team? Am I going to fit into the team? Is the pitch going to be right for my skill set? Is it close to where I live? Is it going to lead to any eligibility for minor counties cricket? Do they enter the national? I think players, when they do move, it's down to all of those reasons, and they'll make their decision based on that. I mean, Robbie Bowman, who's a very talented cricketer, I've played some one day cup games for Durham last year. He's decided to leave Tynemouth and go to Burnmoor, and they're there for all the right reasons. He wants to play with one of his coaches, Stewie Pointer, who's of a similar mould to Robbie in terms of being a batsman with a keeper. We were really keen on getting Robbie to come and play for us, but when I spoke to him, he said, I'm going to sign for them because I want to have the guidance of Stewie there and to play with some ex-first-class cricketers who have who've been there and done what I want to do. So, I think a lot of the time the decisions are based on what's right for them in their life as opposed to any financial gain. Another example for us, for example, Harry Lumsden, who we've just signed from Burnhamfield, he really wants to play for Northumberland, so he's joined Newcastle because they're an eligible club. I mean, I'm hoping there's other reasons that he signed other than that, but they're a club that enhances his eligibility for Northumberland, which I know we chatted about the other day in terms of how difficult how small the pool can be for Northumberland to pick from.
Yeah, just 4 clubs in the North East that are actually eligible to play for Northumberland. It's a very small pool that you guys have to pick from, isn't it?
Yeah, well, there are other clubs that they can pick from, but there's 4 top
4 Premier League clubs.
Yeah. So it is really difficult for Northumberland. I know that's not mirrored necessarily across the country because the catchment, so to speak, I'm a teacher. The catchment, so to speak, is much larger for some of those counties. But I mean, it's just testament to our head coach Daniel Sherburn and the setup at Northumberland Cricket and Ollie McGee as captain that people are desperate to come and play for us, given our success, the winter programme, and the fantastic year that we had last year. There's lots of lads dropping who've unfortunately been released from Durham who were really, really keen to play. And obviously, being 35, I've been through the really high times, like getting to the 2020 finals day at Wormsley. High times 10 years ago when we got beat off Cornwall at Wormsley in the One Day Cup. Equally, when we've opened the bowling with 2 wicketkeepers at Sedbergh at Cumbria, probably 11, 12 years ago, which was really tough. So it's amazing to see how far the county club has come, and I think that's testament to everyone involved. And even though we do have a very difficult catchment to pick from since the criteria for funding changed through the NCCA to encourage more homegrown players. That's been particularly tough for Northumberland, and they've managed to build on that and create an environment where people want to play, so people will move to clubs to play for them.
Absolutely. I think that's testament not just to Northumberland, but to the quality of the North East Premier League, isn't it? Because the clubs are strong clubs. You know, the competitiveness at that level in the Premier League in the North East it is up there. There's no two ways about it in terms of the quality that's out there. You're very lucky to have played quite a lot of county cricket around the minor counties, the NCCA as well yourself. Where would you put the North East in that sort of echelons? Does it feel as though the NCCA stuff is as strong as the North East or vice versa?
But yeah, I think. I think in general, the standard of the Sunday stuff, the NCCA, is higher.
Yeah.
Sherbs as our manager or coach, he often says to lads throughout the winter and at the start of the season that you need to get into the team. You need to be dominating your club cricket. You need to be your club's best players, really. And I think that's fair. That's fair enough. I mean, you've got lads that I don't know, a lot of lads who'll play minor counties cricket who'll bat 8, like solid batters, batting 7 and 8, who'll bat 3, 4, 5. For the majority of club teams, obviously. You have got lads who in the North East Premier League who could easily play minor counties cricket but are older and have family lives, or it doesn't interest them. Who will flourish in the leagues. But in general, I would say I feel like the standards got better from in minor counties cricket. But I also feel like the Premier League. I mean, when I first started in 2006, 2007, it was really, really, really strong. And there's probably at some point within the last 20 years, in terms of its competitiveness, I don't know whether that's because they've gone to the 2 divisions, so there's promotion and relegation, which I think is key for any pathway or competition to improve. And as I mentioned to you before, them going to the 3 divisions from next year is only going to kind of improve that.
Absolutely. So come on, let's look forward to 2026 season. You know, this is going to go out before you guys go out on the pitch on Saturday to start with. What does a good season look like for Newcastle? I'm guessing that where you finished last year, you were probably disappointed. You thought you'd be at top half of the table. What's a good season look like for you?
It's a funny one because I mean when you say you'd be disappointed, it was quite a transition for last year in terms of those younger lads coming in. The team had changed quite a bit. I came in as captain. I haven't played for the club. I did play for Newcastle about 2015, but I haven't played. Obviously, I was at back of my home club, Sunderland, which I absolutely loved. But obviously went to Newcastle as with a new challenge. And actually, if you look at the league table, although we came 8th, very unlike Burnmore, we were probably on the wrong side of some of those results, which comes with experience. And it was really, really tight. For example, Hetton Lions, I think, were very close to being relegated with about 5-6 games to go, and they just went on a run, and I ended up finishing 5th or 6th. So last year was close. I think this year, again, obviously we've brought new players in with a little bit more experience, so to speak. But I think it's going to be really, really difficult to kind of place. I'd love us to finish in the top half. But what I would say is South Northumberland and Burnmore seem to be on paper the standout teams, and then you look from the rest of the teams, and you literally could look at any of them and go, well, they could finish 3rd, or they could finish 10th, 11th, 12th. I think it could be as concentrated as that. Which is, if I'm totally honest, that's exactly what you want. Like
absolutely.
That is what you want. You want the league to be competitive. You want every game to be played to be like, oh well, actually, I'm not sure who's going to win this, because all teams have got particular strengths this year. There's a couple of clubs that have got fantastic professionals, really, really good. I mean, Castle Eden have got Mandeep Singh again, who is a sensational cricketer. think, is it Yash Qatari? Maybe
Yash Qatari has gone to Ashington. Yeah.
At Ashington. Well, he played for Benwell Hill a couple of years ago.
He's a bit decent.
I've never seen a lad have as much time when they're bad as him. So he's going to be a great acquisition for them. I understand that headlines as professional is meant to be very handy. And then you've got the other teams such as Chesley Street, who don't necessarily have a professional, but they've got some fantastic league cricketers. So as I say, all teams are going to have their strengths. And I think it's set up to be a really competitive year, made even more competitive with the fact that there's going to be 3 teams relegated this year as opposed to 2.
Yeah, and that's a big thing, isn't it? To go from 2 down out of 12 to 3 out of 12, I'm presuming it's just 1 coming up from below.
Yeah, that's right.
That makes the leagues... That just compresses everything so much more, doesn't it? And if you're in 10th place with a week or 2 or 3 weeks to go, the pressure on that, whereas previously it might have been, we should be all right, all of a sudden you could lose that Premier League status, couldn't you?
Yeah, I know. But as I've mentioned to friends that I've got who play at other clubs in the league and teammates, that is what we'll play for, really. You play for the pressure, really. You speak to most people, the games that they will have enjoyed the most in their cricketing career will be the close ones. Where there's something on it, as opposed to beating teams by 200, 250 runs. That, I mean, like, you want things to be close. And
absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the challenge of it. And I actually think it's a positive thing for the league, for them to be making that change from 12 to 10, doing this way, giving that team the chance from Division 1 to be promoted, that one team, which is going to be difficult. But I think that's a much better way of doing it than just having 2 go down from our league and everybody stay.
Yeah, and I think in the long run, it should make that top division even stronger, shouldn't it, without a doubt. So let's look at some of the players very briefly around that league then. It might be at Newcastle, might be elsewhere. Just give me a couple of players that followers and listeners to our show might not have heard of. You know, Yash Qatari, we've mentioned him 1,000 times over the past couple of years. He's one of those players. You've got Eddie Campion, who's turned up at Felling, another one who's come from the home counties. That'll be an interesting one to keep an eye on. But, you know, players that you know, maybe a batter, maybe a bowler, you say, keep an eye out for this one. Generally, they're the youngsters, aren't they, to keep an eye out for?
Well, that's a tricky one. I thought, what I'll do, I'll start with my home club. I think that's the best way to do it, and I'll have to have a think after that. So we've got 3 young lads. One is called Charlie Coulthard. Now he played I took him to Sunderland from Willington a couple of years ago when he was in year 13 at Barnard Castle, so he still had some school cricket, but the impact that he had at Sunderland was superb. He did fantastically. He managed to balance his studies and his school cricket and club cricket fantastically. Now he came to Newcastle with me last year and probably didn't do as well as that he wanted to. I think it's often quite difficult, especially when you don't go to university, to jump straight into working life and balance your cricket. You sometimes lose or find it difficult to work out what's important to you at the time. But he's going to give it another go this year, and he is an incredibly talented player. So if he can get the mental side of his game right, I think there's a lot of runs in there. Really talented lad. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he gets on alongside Faizan Guman, who we've signed from Tynemouth. Now he is in that kind of age of being in his final year of school, the balance of A levels, a bit of school cricket, a bit of club cricket, as well as his Durham second team stuff. But the lads at Durham who I'm friends with are really keen on him, especially for his temperament and things like that. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he goes. He's an opening batter, and there's another lad who this is probably the most the best one from a club perspective, from a homegrown perspective, is a lad called Charlie Darwood, who is George Darwood's brother. He played some games for us last year. Was thrown in at the deep end, in that he was bowled at the end at some fantastic cricketers in the white ball, which was a steep learning curve for him. He did really well at the end of last year, and he's again in that same kind of A-level boat. But he has trained really, really well over the winter. And I think there's a chance for him to do really, really well this year. Be that in second team cricket as an all-rounder, but definitely there'll definitely be some good opportunities for him to bowl for the first team as well. So I think he's definitely one to watch out for over the next coming years, I would say, for Charlie, but for the other two, definitely this year.
And I say to anyone, if anyone can go through their A-levels and do what they've got to do on the pitch at the same time, Thomas Rue's doing it down in Somerset right now this year. So these boys have got a standard to set, haven't they? But playing in Durham twos, that's the sort of level that these guys are getting to now, isn't it? I feel really old when I say this, but the thought of someone doing their A-levels, playing county cricket, but it just didn't happen back in the day. It was the older generation, inverted commas, coming through. Now you're seeing these 16, 17, 18, 19-year-olds with all of these exams around them to do, and at the same time managing to play Premier League cricket, some NCCA, some playing twos cricket. It's just a different world altogether, isn't it?
No, it definitely is. I mean, we played against Dorset in the semi-final of the 2020s, lad. And I know there was I can't remember his name, 17, 18-year-old lad who was linked, but you'll know his name, who was linked with...
Was it Finn Gordon?
Yeah, that's it. Who obviously has done something similar and done really, really well in Australia. So no, it's good to see such fantastic promise in some of these players. If we looked at some of the other teams that they've mentioned, I know there's lads at Durham McKean, and a lad called Zach Maudsley, who's playing for Durham at the moment. He's signed for Chesley Street. I know there's a bit of excitement regarding him. There is another lad who he did really, really well 2 years ago. I've already mentioned him today, Robbie Bowman, who's gone to Birmingham from Tynemouth. He is still one to watch. So I would say off the top of my head, can't think as much. I've been concentrating so much on my own team. Those two off the top of my head are lads that we're definitely looking out to watch out for and see how they go.
And coming back to yourself and your team, and we're coming towards the end of the chat, that was one of the questions I was going to ask. I mean, playing Premier League cricket, the mental side of it is massive for all of the players, full stop. Being a captain of a Premier League club, how do you sort of balance that with the rest of your day-to-day, your day job, your family life, and all that? Because there's just so much to deal with, isn't there?
Yeah, there really is. And actually, when I was captain at Sunderland, I found that really, really tricky to be able to do that. Not through anybody's fault at all, but it was a multi-sports club. So there was sometimes jurisdiction of things that we could and couldn't do. And the finances were split amongst everyone, so sometimes it couldn't be financed and things like that. So it was really, really tricky, and they will always be my home club. And unfortunately, they were relegated from the Premier League into Division 1 last year, but they've signed some really good players this year, and I've still got some good friends there, so I do wish them all the best, but it was just too much for me to be captain of there with that kind of environment. At Newcastle, it is tricky, but I do have some good support from the chairman in Nick Brown, but in particular from Phil Hudson, who does a lot of off-field work for me.
Yeah.
In terms of kit suppliers, in terms of speaking to groundsmen. We're linked to the school at the Royal Grammar School, so working out when we can train and things like that for helping book winter nets.
Yeah.
He's been incredibly helpful. He'd be happy that I'm giving him this acknowledgement, because
they're the guys that run these clubs at the end of the day. They're the most invaluable, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. In my end of year speech at the end of last year, I didn't mention them at all, and I think he had the hump with me about that. Completely didn't mean to. I just completely forgotten. But no, he needs a huge shout out. But it is tricky. I'm a PE teacher and pastoral lead head of year at school, and some things like that sometimes, especially from a pastoral perspective, some things just can't wait. And like when I've got training after school, I'm like, well, I can't get there on time because I need to deal with this thing. So those things can be tricky. But thankfully, the lads who in the club have got some senior players who can run the sessions and things like that and take over. They're pretty self-sufficient. Which is good, but it is tricky. The easiest bit, I would say, is the bit on the field. I think that's probably the easiest bit.
Get over that white line, and it all clicks into this is what I do, isn't it?
Yeah, and it is trickier because obviously I'm keeping wicket as well, and then batting on the top five, and then having to captain the team, especially a younger team as well, which can be tricky. But I loved the challenge last year, and I'm looking forward to that again this year.
And you wouldn't have it any other way. Let's get to the crux of it then. Before we finish, no sitting on the fence, no creosote arse. Who's going to win the North East Premier League this year?
It's one of two. I'm going to say really, really tight, less than a game's points. I'm going to go for Bournemouth. So less
think they'll repeat it.
Less than 25 points, I think, though. Really close, I think.
Absolutely. Hey, we'll look out for that, though. Have a great season going forward there, Chris. You've got a lot of bloody cricket coming up in the next few months, haven't you? And the irony is, when you get to your school holidays and the NCCA turns to 3-day, you get that time off anyway then, don't you? Yeah,
no, I definitely won't be playing any of that. I played one at Sawston in Babraham 2 years ago to help Sherbs out, and never again, I don't think. I think
could you have picked any further to go?
Yeah, well, I know. I think I don't know that. I'm sure there were 300 for none or something after by 4 o'clock or something, and it was about 35 degrees. John Oswald had given me my inners had broken the day before. He'd asked me to, and he works at a cricket shop. He brought me some inners, and they were like gardening gloves. So my hands were the thickest inners you've ever seen. It was about 35 degrees. So yeah, the horrors of Sawston and Babraham live long in my memory for a year. But thankfully, we went back there at the Super 12s and beat them this year. So we managed to get rid of those horrors. But I won't be playing any 3-day cricket.
Absolutely. Hey, enjoy, mate, and thanks for joining us at the captain's table.
No worries, mate. Thanks very much.
Right, it's time to do teammates with Chris Youldon up at Newcastle. It's T10 as always, Chris, because we love our T10. Fast as you can. Who's most likely to be late at Newcastle?
Andrew Doig.
Who's most likely to go on a reality show?
Dan Hogg from Durham. Beautiful man.
Who's most likely to throw a bat?
Joe Stewart, even though he bats 11. Sometimes just kicks off when he gets out, when I'm like, well.
Who's most likely to ignore a WhatsApp?
Arthur Wilcox or Charlie Coulthard. Young lads too busy playing on Snapchat.
Who would you never want to share a car with?
Matty Stewart if he's been batting, because his batting gloves stink. Same as Alistair Appleby if I play for Northumberland.
Who spends the longest on their hair?
Well, definitely not me. So, no, not me. Hair, I think Dan Hogg again. Love Islander.
Who would you never want to organise the team night out?
Oh, well, I don't drink. So somewhere where it would be a big bender in Prague or Benidorm, probably Joe Stewart.
Who's most likely to wind you up or start an argument?
or Joe Stewart. Start an argument in a telephone box.
Who's most likely to Google themselves?
Joe Stewart. And sorry, quickly about Joe Stewart. We say he's got narcissistic personality disorder, and I'm only half joking.
And finally, who's the most famous person in your phone book that you'd love to invite to play for Newcastle?
Well, I did. 10 years ago, Ben Stokes he'd been out injured, playing for England. I said, do you fancy a game? And he came and played for us against Stockton. So Ben Stokes or Joe Root, I think it would have to be.
Fair comment. Hey, thanks for teammates there at Newcastle. Thanks for joining us at the Premier League Cricket Club. We'll be back soon with more from the world of Premier League and NCCA cricket. But in the meantime, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review and follow us wherever you get your socials. Or maybe check out our website, premierleaguecricket.co.uk, to stay updated. Until next time, have a good one.